Venezuelan leader Nicolás Maduro has arrived in the United States and was brought to the Metropolitan Detention Center in New York, where he now awaits trial on charges of narco-terrorism. Maduro and his wife Cilia Flores were taken from their home in Venezuela's capital city of Caracas in a dramatic U.S. military operation that Maduro's government called imperialist. Following the operation dubbed Absolute Resolve, U.S. President Donald Trump said his country will run Venezuela until a safe transition and take control of its vast oil reserves. The U.S. intervention received a mixed response internationally. While many European leaders welcomed Maduro's arrest, allies like China and Russia called for his release. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres expressed concern that international law was not respected. The legal authority for the incursion, done without congressional approval, was not immediately clear, but the Trump administration argued the ouster was necessary to combat drug trafficking. The British Defence Ministry has announced that its aircraft carried out joint strikes with France on an underground facility in central Syria, allegedly used by Islamic State militants to store weapons and explosives. The strikes occurred Saturday evening on a structure in the mountains just north of the historic town of Palmyra in the country's Homs province, according to the ministry's statement. The British military used Typhoon FGR-4 fighter jets supported by a Voyager refueling tanker and used Paveway 4 guided bombs to target a number of access tunnels down to the facility. Syria's government, which joined the U.S.-led anti-IS coalition late last year, had no immediate comment on the strikes. Despite its defeat in Syria in 2019, IS sleeper cells still carry out deadly attacks in Syria and Iraq, where the extremists once declared their caliphate. Last month, the Trump administration launched military strikes against IS in Syria in retaliation for an ambush attack near Palmyra that killed 2 U.S. troops and an American civilian interpreter.
Hundreds of people gathered on Sunday to honor the victims of the New Year's Eve Swiss bar fire that unfolded in the town of Crans-Montana and left 40 dead. Families, friends, firefighters and those who came to show their support gathered for a Sunday Mass, while others followed it on a screen outside. Pope Leo XIV sent a message of condolences, which was read during the service. The crowds then came together for a silent march up the hill towards the place of the tragedy at the bar Le Constellation. The Valais Cantonal Police announced that 16 new victims were identified, most of whom were aged between the ages of 13 and 25. Meanwhile, Swiss authorities have opened a criminal investigation into the 2 managers suspected of involuntary manslaughter, intentional bodily harm and arson. Investigators said they believe sparklers on champagne bottles may have ignited the fire when they came too close to the bar's ceiling. Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei said on Saturday that, quote, rioters must be put in their place amid a week-long protest which has already seen at least 10 people killed. The Ayatollah also blamed the collapse of the Iranian rial on what he called the enemy.
ما با معترض حرف میزنیم، باید حرف بزنن مسئولین با معترض، اما با اغتشاشگر حرف زدن فایده ای نداره. اغتشاشگر رو باید به جای خودش نشاند.
On Friday, U.S. President Donald Trump said that Washington would come to the protesters' rescue if Tehran kills peaceful demonstrators. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi called Trump's comments reckless and dangerous, adding that Iran's armed forces were on standby and know exactly where to aim in the event of an attack.